experimenters. My name's Tori, and this is my niece Mahari. So I work for a company called Learning Undefeated, and we're a nonprofit organization that offers life-changing STEM opportunities. Today we're going to be performing an experiment called candy chromatography. Now Mahari, I'm sure you know what candy is, but do you know what chromatography is? Chromatography is a way or a method that scientists use to separate a mixture into their different components. So today we're going to be using Skittles and M&Ms to try to find out what colors actually make up the candy shell. So these are some of the materials that you're going to need today for this experiment. So for every experiment, there's always a little prep work. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take our coffee filter, like so, and we want to draw a square that's 3 inches tall by 4 inches wide. Then you want to further divide that square into 1-inch squares so that you get 4 equal rectangles. It should look like this. We've took the time and went ahead and labeled them with the colors of the M&Ms and Skittles that we're going to use. So we're going to use a purple Skittle, a brown M&M, a green M&M, and a green Skittle. Our next step is to pair our Skittles and our M&Ms. So we've done 3 of them already, and Mahari's going to demonstrate the next one. So you want to take a drop of water and drip it onto your full piece. That's about 1 inch by 2 inch, but it doesn't have to be exact. Then you want to let that candy sit there, letting the water get the dyes off of the candy for about 1 minute. While that's in progress, we're going to go ahead and make our saltwater solution. To make our saltwater solution, we've got our bowl, and we're going to put 3 cups of water into our bowl. Now we've already put 2 cups, and that makes cup number 3. Our next step is to add our salt. You're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt into the water, and then give it a nice stir with one of our stir sticks. Until all the salt dissolves and we can't see it anymore. After you finish your saltwater solution, you can come back to your candies if it's been a minute. You can take the candy off the foil, and it leaves you with a puddle of water that has the candy coating's color inside the water. You want to make sure that you leave the candy next to the foil so that you know which candy belongs to which colored water. Then you're going to take your strips that we made earlier and get ready to start making your samples. Okay, so if you'll notice, we've moved our M&Ms and our Skittles so that they correspond with the paper that they're going to be used with. Just makes it easier, and so you don't get them confused. Now, Mahari's going to demonstrate with the green M&M of how to do this. So the first thing we did was we marked a line about 1/2 inch from the bottom, and that's where we're going to use to put our colored pigment. So Mahari took a dot on the pencil, and even though we used a pencil, you can use almost anything. After the first dot is put, you want it to dry completely, and then you want to repeat the same step 3 more times so that you put the liquid on there a total of 4 times. Once that's done, we will come back and show you the next step. Now all of our samples have been created. As you can see, all 4 of the colors are on their paper that corresponds with which one it belongs to. Our next step, which Mahari will demonstrate, will be taking the papers and attaching them to the skewers so that they can sit on top of the cup without falling in. Go ahead, Mahari. So she's taking the tape and tearing it off now, and taking one of the skewers and the papers. She's using the brown Skittles, or purple Skittles, I'm sorry, and attaching it to the skewer like so. Once it is attached, it will look like this. Now, we're going to finish the other 3, and we'll come back to you. Now that all 4 of them are taped, we want to take our samples and put them into the cup so that they rest across the cup like this. Our next step is to take our saltwater solution and carefully pour it in, making sure that we don't hit the samples till it barely touches the top or the bottom of the paper. And then we will go to our next one and do the same thing. Now it's time to watch as the colors start to separate into their different colors and travel up the coffee filters using capillary action. Now what you want to do is give this time to run until you see the colors stop running anymore. Then you want to take them out and let them dry. Once that happens, we're going to set them on a white sheet of paper so it's easier for you guys to see what colors make up each one of these samples. Once they finish drying, we're going to lay them on the counter and let them dry completely before putting them on a white piece of paper to show you the results. Now that our samples have dried, we have taped them to the paper so that it's easier to see. There's the results from our green M&M. As you can see, it's separated from green into a little bit of red, a good bit of yellow, and some blue. This is the results from our brown M&M. However, our purple M&M Skittle reacted a little weirdly and actually didn't change very much. And this was our green Skittle. Now, for other things that you can do, if you look, you can use pens, you can use markers, and other things. This is an example of the pen that we used when we ran the experiment separately. Congratulations, experimenters! You've now completed candy chromatography. We hope you enjoyed the experiment and come back to watch some more. If you want to check out more experiments, visit www.learningundefeated.org/at-home science. Peace.